Hey guys, this week I'm going to show you how I make my ultimate eggless tiramisu all from scratch, not using those shop bought sponge fingers. We are going to make our own and they are superb. Most eggless tiramisu recipes online will still include those shop bought sponge fingers which have eggs in them, and I have looked everywhere for an egg-free version and have not been able to find it anywhere, not online, not in the shops. So I've gone one step further and made my own because nobody should be without tiramisu in their lives. If you haven't already thought of a Christmas dessert to make this year, then this is the one because it is easy, it is absolutely delicious, and everyone is gonna love it. So these sponge fingers are made using a basic cake recipe. I've made some adjustments so that we can make sure that they are super absorbent, so that when we dip them in our really strong espresso, they're gonna go and suck it all up, and they're gonna hold so much more moisture and flavor. That's what they do, they go kind of like me in the morning when I'm having my coffee. I forgot what I was gonna say. Most eggless tiramisu recipes online are created for people who are unable to eat raw eggs, and raw eggs are a key ingredient in most regular tiramisu recipes. So people are creating those recipes for those who are not necessarily avoiding eggs, but for those who are avoiding raw eggs. So today we are going to bypass those pesky eggs in the sponge fingers and make our own. And I've come up with a recipe that works a treat. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please go ahead and do that. The link is in my bio. Make sure that you hit the bell icon when you're there, and you will be notified as soon as I upload a brand new recipe, which by the way is every week. So if you've missed some recipes, then head on over there. There are about 60 videos for you to catch up on. The bell icon. Let's make eggless tiramisu from scratch.
Tap the link in the description box for a full list of ingredients you need to make this recipe. Over a large bowl, sift together some self-raising flour, potato starch, caster sugar, and salt. Take full fat milk in a jug. Add any white vinegar or apple cider vinegar. Now leave this to stand for about 10 minutes until it curdles very slightly. Now for some vanilla extract and any flavourless oil. Give this all a really good whisk up. Add the milk mixture to the sifted dry ingredients. Whisk this well for about a minute or two until no lumps remain in the mixture. Pour half of the batter into the lined tin and spread it out using a spatula. Leave a 3 cm overhang at the longest sides of the baking parchment for easy removal from the tin later. Now rasp the tin on the countertop a dozen times to encourage any air bubbles to rise to the surface. This will give you a more even bake. Bake the sponge in a preheated oven at 175 degrees Celsius, that's 350 degrees Fahrenheit, for around 15 minutes. Remove the sponge from the oven and allow it to cool in the tin for around 10 minutes. Once baked, it should be slightly springy to the touch and golden on top. After this time, scatter caster sugar over the top of the sponge and give the pan a little shake to distribute it evenly. The surface of the sponge should look beautifully frosty. Repeat the same baking steps for the second half of the batter. Once the sponges have cooled, slice them into rectangles about 2.5 cm by 8.5 cm. Carefully peel the sponge fingers away from the baking parchment and set them on a wire rack. I mean, look how light and perfectly fluffy they are. Leave the sponge fingers to air dry at room temperature, uncovered, for about 24 hours. Don't skip this step though. The air drying ensures the sponge fingers become dry enough to dip into the coffee later without breaking. To make the espresso, mix together instant coffee and boiling water. Allow this to cool completely before you use it. If you like your tiramisu boozy, you can add 2 to 3 tablespoons of marsala, Baileys, dark rum or whiskey. Now for the deliciously decadent creamy bit. In a large bowl, mix together mascarpone and sweetened condensed milk. Once combined, whisk until smooth. In a separate bowl, take cold double cream. Whisk it until it produces soft peaks, but don't overwhip. You can use an electric beater for this. A little at a time, fold the whipped cream into the mascarpone mixture. The finished mascarpone cream should be smooth and able to hold a peak. To assemble the tiramisu, take a large glass or ceramic dish. Dip the now stale ladyfingers in the cold espresso until completely soaked, about 5 or 6 seconds. Arrange these in the base of the dish. Top with 1/3 of the mascarpone cream and spread it out into an even layer. Now use a tea strainer or small sieve to sift cocoa powder and cinnamon on top. Repeat the sponge finger and espresso layering process. You can plug any gaps with broken sponge fingers to fit. Top with another 1/3 of the mascarpone cream. Place the remaining mascarpone cream in a piping bag fitted with a large round nozzle. Pipe little blobs of cream on top of the tiramisu for a pretty finish. Sift more cocoa powder and cinnamon over the top of the tiramisu. Now we must play the waiting game. Cover the dish, taking care not to smudge the top, and refrigerate for at least 24 hours or up to 72 hours before serving. Since this tiramisu is eggless, it will keep well in the fridge for up to a week. In my opinion, if you can leave it for 2 or 3 days, it's going to taste even better. And there we have it, a creamy, dreamy eggless tiramisu recipe.